Hello everyone. We've got some space cows fresh out of Area 51 to check out. I guess Gateway was feeling particularly creative in the post-beige era. Just look at how future-y they are. Alright, let's tear into these. And maybe it's just me, but this thing looks like it could be a cousin of one of the sentry turrets from Portal. I feel like it's about to start shooting at me. And this cover here flips up and stores conveniently into the top of the machine, revealing our drives and USB ports. I see we're still in the floppy drive era, looking all sleek and sophisticated in black. We also have a DVD drive up here, and a CD burner. And it looks like that drive blank is removable from the front. By squeezing these together, yeah. It doesn't come out easily, but that's awfully convenient. Usually I have to go around the back and push them. Let's get that back in there. It's a little tricky. There we go. And we are sporting an Intel Pentium 4, running good old Windows XP. And that silvery Gateway logo is just heartwarming. There's just something about it. It's kind of hard to perceive on camera, but it is very shiny. You can see my hand reflecting in it. That is pure sophistication. And I just realized I didn't center up that drive blank correctly. It looked good from my angle. There we go. And then when you're all done driving your drives, just flip this lid closed. And boom. Futuristic countenance restored. And here's the back of the machine. And this being a system intended for mass market appeal, we've got fully color-coded port labels. And we've got it all on board, including a real serial port and a NIC. And just in case you're not ready for broadband, got a dial-up modem down there. And of course, this being a homey consumer-grade machine, we've got Windows XP Home Edition. Interestingly enough, this sticker is on its own little raised plastic thing. They didn't stick it directly to the metal. It's an interesting choice. And here's a good look at the label on the top, with the manufacture date of July 5th, 2002. Okay, let's get this thing open. Looks like we have a single thumb screw here. And then we have to squeeze this squeezy tab that's on the other side of the panel here. And it should pull out. There we go. And it looks like we got a complete system here. Hopefully that hard drive's decent. And what's plaguing you, capacitors? Man, those are some of the worst ones I've seen yet. And I've been doing this for a lot of years. It sure seems like gateways are especially susceptible to the capacitor plague. Guess they wanted to squeeze as much margin out of these things as possible. Probably the same reason they skimped on the AGP slot. For 2002, that's a pretty crippling omission. Restricted to PCI. And this power supply has a test switch. That's something I don't see very often. I wonder if that just toggles the power on signal. Well, we'll certainly be testing that. And all the peripheral cards are held in by this plate here. And that's retained by a single thumb screw. Oh, I guess that stays with the case. Yeah, it's on a little hinge. That's convenient. Alright, let's check out the dial-up modem. And it's made by Broadcom, the killers of VMware. Dusty. Certainly looks original. Okay, let's unplug all the things. And it seems as though we have some kind of contraption holding this power supply in. There's definitely no screws holding it in. Let's see how this goes. I'm guessing you pull down on this tab. Yeah, there we go. Now, do we slide back? Yes, we do. Well, how about that? Gateway on the mission to simplify power supply removal. That's an interesting design choice. Surely that's more expensive than just using screws. Now, let's check out the CPU. And that's pretty stuck. Gotta be careful with these Pentium 4s, you can pull them right out of the socket. And with this one we may not have any choice, because it's not coming off. Yep, I knew it would happen. Luckily all the pins survived. Let's get this thing off of there. Let's see if I can get it with a razor first. There we go. Gotta love when thermal paste turns to thermal glue. Let's get this cleaned up. Well, that took some doing. It's so hard to read these early Pentium 4s, and it's even harder to get them on camera. But we have a clock speed of 2 GHz, 512K of cache, and 400 MHz frontside bus, SL5YR. Now let's get this heatsink taken care of. This is going to take some scraping, so let's get some IPA on there. And that's good enough, I guess. I wonder how this thing got all scratched up. That definitely wasn't me. Now let's get at that fan. You know, it could be worse. Let's get that cleaned up. Yeah, it really wasn't as bad as it seemed. We've definitely had worse. But we're much better now. Let's test that fan. Alright, sounds great. No maintenance required. Let's see what we have for RAM. 256 megs of PC2100 DDR, made by Hynix. Pretty clean considering the rest of the system. Everything else is quite dusty. Now let's get this motherboard out of here. Good old no guesswork front panel connectors. Now we have this single thumb screw here, and the rest of them are Torx, so I'm guessing this is the only one we remove. Now I assume we can just slide this back. Yeah, there we go. And those plaguey caps are 3300 microfarads, which I don't have. I swear, every time I get these in stock, I find a new value. Fortunately, as an avid hoarder of junk circuit boards, I was able to harvest these. They're a little bit bigger than the ones that are in there, but maybe I can squeeze them on there. Well, let's find out. Let's get some flux on there. Now, I can usually get the old ones to fall off with some desoldering alloy. There we go. That's one down. And that's the other one. Alright, let's clean up the board. That should do. And what do you know? The replacements fit. They're just a little bit taller than the originals. That should be just fine. Let's get them soldered down. Flux is your friend. Good enough. Okay, got that CPU back in there to keep the dust out of the socket. Let's get it swept off. I feel like some kind of archaeologist doing this. Now I'm pretty sure the thermal paste on that chipset is gone, so let's get that changed out. With the world's most aggravating heatsink clips. And that thing's pretty stuck. Just give it a little twist. There we go. I'm going to try to avoid using too much IPA on the heatsink, because I don't want to hurt this foam here. Let's see how that goes. I swear I use guitar picks more for scraping than for actually playing guitar. Now, using minimal IPA. There, that'll do. Okay, let's get these heat sinks back on. Always make sure you apply even pressure to these, because otherwise you could crack the chip. Now let's make sure that battery's dead. Yep, sure is. Wouldn't want to needlessly spend 40 cents now. Now let's get these drives out of here. They seem to have some kind of locking contrivance holding them in. It's just a single thumb screw on each of them. Now I guess this slides. Sure does. Now can we simply push the drive out? Yeah. Crafty old gateway. Even the hard drive is retained by such a contraption. But it's still tight in there. Try not to fling it across the garage. Oh, that had some fight in it. And the DVD-ROM is a Gateway original, made by Matsushita, manufactured May 2002. And the CD burner is also a Gateway original, though it's made by Light On. No date on it, but I'm guessing it's similar. And the hard drive is a Western Digital Caviar, 80 gigabytes. And that's actually the same model and capacity as the first hard drive I ever bought brand new. I got a good 10 years of life out of that drive. Hopefully this one has some life left in it. And this is obviously a later addition to the system, having been manufactured November 6, 2003. Let's wipe that dust off. And the floppy drive is made by NEC, model FD1231M, and it too was made in 2002. Let's give it the usual service. And hey, it's actually pretty clean. Let's get those heads clean. Well, they were pretty clean already, but I like to be sure. And that lead screw doesn't have much grease on it to begin with. But let's clean what little there is on there off. Now let's get some white lithium grease on there, while being mindful of that sensor. Now moving on to the power supply. It's made by Newton Power Limited, whoever that is, rated at 160 watts. And that date code's not making very much sense to me, because I'm pretty sure this is original. Okay, let's see what that test switch does. I don't have the power supply tester connected, so we're not going to have a traditional power on signal. Let's see. Okay, I guess you have to hold it down. Huh, that's interesting. So I really just have to sit there and hold it. I'm struggling to understand the utility of that. Well, that answers that question. Let's get the power supply tester on it so I don't have to hold that button. There we go. Looking good on the voltages. Let's give that 5 minutes. Alright, that's time. I'd say we're good. Let's see what happens if I push the test switch while it's on. Okay, nothing apparently. I guess that makes sense. Okay, we are ready for liftoff. Or an explosion. It could go either way. Let's see. And we are posting. Alright, all looking good so far. Let's go ahead and set that date and time. Come on into the modern age. Save changes and exit. Ooh, sounds like we're booting. Yep, Windows XP. It never gets old. Well, they were definitely heavy AOL users. What is AOL Computer Checkup? Not doing too well in the performance department. WebRoot window washer. Ah, they've locked it behind an AOL account. Oh well, not seeing that. Yeah, this thing's chugging. Let's see, how are we on system resources? Yeah, we got us a memory hog somewhere. Let's see, what's using all that? McAfee. Who would have ever guessed? I'm pretty sure that's McAfee. What other hogs do we have? Oh, that's the biggest one. That thing's going for all the system RAM. Okay, that's better. Oh no, never mind. It's spiking back up again. Let's see, I doubt I can kill that since it's a system process. Kill it. Yep, that means no. And 10 seconds later, get the actual dialogue. Guess we're just gonna have to suffer through it. I'll just have to rely on the magic of video editing. Let's see, AOL 9.1. That is definitely beyond my AOL days. I have a feeling I'm gonna be waiting for a while. Oh, now I get some signs of McAfee. Let's see if I can disable that. Oh, we got our AOL computer checkup anyway. Next scheduled scan is February 25th, 2011. I guess that gives us some idea of when the last time this thing was used. Okay, McAfee, can I make you go away? Let's see. Can I disable any of this? Turn off, please. Let's see what options we get. Never. Oh no, my computer is at risk. I'm sure it was at risk to begin with. It's also apparently currently doing a scan. I'm sure that's not helping. Can you stop, maybe? Well, at least our updates are current. Alright, cancel scan. And never do it again. Boy, I remember these days. It probably would have had better performance if it had malware. Okay, dismiss that. Seems like we're running better now. How about our virus and spyware protection? Needs attention. Yeah, it sure does. We still have some things that are enabled. Let's see, what else can we turn off? Okay, that shouldn't be bothering anything. Okay, we should be good now. At least until it resurrects itself. Let's get out of here. And there's AOL 9.1. See that we're using with a broadband connection. Let's see if we can switch that to dial-up. Nope. Broadband is all you get. I want to say AOL 9.1 came out around 2007 or 2008. Definitely well beyond AOL's heyday. Let's get out of here. And now we're backing something up. Okay, how about you not do that? Well, let's see what old WebRoot window washer has to say. Last watched February 5th, 2011. So they got almost a decade of use out of this machine. Alright, let's close that. What else do we have? I see they were an avid disk defragmenter. Let's see the status of that. Analyze. Yeah, they kept up with it. I guess they were doing everything they could to optimize this thing, because it is chugging. Let's close that. Let's see, what else? I win games. It's empty. That sounds like the type of thing that comes bundled with every spyware in existence. There's not a whole lot else on here. Ah, good old Roxio. Somebody may have been sailing the high seas. Let's see, what's in Gateway Utilities? Gateway Recovery Program. Wonder if I could use that to make recovery media. Let's see. Nope, it needs recovery media. Thought I might have had a contribution to the Internet Archive. Not today. Okay, it's not giving up. Cancel. Let's see, is there anything else? Not really in terms of programs. I'm sure those are just the default Windows games. Yep. Let's see, do we have any documents? Oh yeah, tons of documents. Let's get some dates on those. With the latest from December 2010. Speaking of dates, let's see what Event Viewer has to say. Let's just scroll past today. And the latest real date stamp is March 27, 2011. So yeah, this thing definitely lived a life that's full. And here I am 13 years later forcing it out of retirement. Okay, let's see what's on the root of that hard drive. Certainly not heavily used at all. Well, definitely nothing questionable about those files. I'm trying to remember what puts all these installers here. I want to say it's AOL that does that. I have a faint memory of that happening for some reason. Okay, let's test some drives. Starting with the floppy drive. And it works. And it sounds lovely. Let's copy all these files and give it a workout. Alright, that went well. Let's check the DVD drive. Oh, it's not happy. Can you stay open? Maybe not. I'm gonna have to get tricky. Oh, now it stays open. And it spins right up. And it does work. Alright, let's not install this. Yes, I'm sure. Let's try the CD burner. At least that one's cooperative. And seems to be working. But we did not auto run. See if I can explore that. Yep, it works. Alright, got 3 healthy drives. Well, let's see if I can get one of these to read a CDR. I'll start with the DVD drive. Oh, now it wants to be uncooperative again. Maybe if I just grab it. Stop. No, you can't have it. Yeah, it's got to give up eventually. There we go. Nope. It really wants that tray. Okay, I think it gave up. See if we can get in the Canopics. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. But it is reading it. However, that is quite annoying. Guess we have some kind of balance problem. Let's switch to the CD burner. Ha! Getting wise to your ways. Alright, that one auto runs too. Let's go ahead and try to boot into this. Had to get this last little error in. And I guess we're not configured to boot from CD. Let's go fix that. Interesting, it doesn't show the CD burner as a boot device. But interestingly enough, it appears we're capable of network booting. That's what that IBA FE thing is. Well, I guess we're going to go with a noisy old DVD drive. Let's see, maybe it's going to behave itself. Well, it's staying open now. Still making that unbalanced sound. Oh well, guess we just have to live with it. Maybe it'll blend in with the neighbor's lawnmower sound. Okay, at least it wants to boot. That thing sounds like it's having a time. It is doing it though. Well, we're in KDE 3. Well, that's interesting. That's never happened before. Maybe we're having some I/O errors. And I don't know what resolution this is, but it ain't enough. Let's try to make that better. Let's see what we have. Oh, 640 by 480 is it. Well, that's going to be awkward. Let's see. Let's try to pull the smart data from that hard drive and get some health info on it. Well, I got no errors logged, but it's not giving me its total power on time. That's what I was interested in. But at least it passed its self-assessment. Well, let's hit it with an error check using the bad blocks command. We'll do a non-destructive read-write test. Oops, forgot the sudo. Okay, this is taking absolutely forever. It's been running for about 22 hours now, and I need to move on. But hey, made it this far. That's gotta be a good sign, right? Let's just cut that short. But at least I proved this system can run for an extended period of time without causing a house fire. And I realized I did a 90-degree rotation on that Northbridge heatsink, although it shouldn't have made a difference. Rest assured I did fix it. Well, its appearance might be out of this world, but its performance is definitely from the underworld, though I have absolute certainty that's only due to software. I'm not sure this thing was visiting the most above-board websites. Old McAfee can only handle so much, you know. But apart from some bad capacitors and an unruly DVD drive, got a fully functional system here. There's something to be said about that. Let's move on to the next system. And here we have the sibling of the last system. Obviously we're missing that lower face panel. No shiny cow print for this system. Let's see if we at least have drives. Yep, sure do. Although this one does not have a DVD-ROM, it does have the 5 1/4 inch version of that drive blank. I'm going to pull that out just for funsies. Wow, that's a lot more difficult to remove than the little one. There we go. And I see the dust already. Let's get that back in there. And this time I'll make sure it's center. Might as well center the little one too, since it's kind of bugging me. Well, I guess that's as centered as that one gets. And this appears to be the exact same model as the previous system, with all the same stuff, including that weird raised COA sticker. And these two systems are really close in age. This one is just 12 days newer. We almost had twinsies. Okay, let's get this one open. And obviously this one opens the exact same way, though we are missing the thumb screw. It has the same squeezy tab up here. So a little bit stuck though. And hey, this one looks complete too. And I'm guessing that's the original hard drive. It's thinner than a typical hard drive, and as such they have this shim here, I guess to help it hold in place in this locking contraption. That had to be Gateway's doing. And luckily only one of those caps looks plaguey. We might be able to still run like that. And that's good because I don't think my junkyard roulette's going to pay off a second time. And this one has had its power supply replaced, and it claims to have an output power of 550 watts. Yeah, sure, I believe that. And I guess that means this power supply retaining contraption can kind of work with an aftermarket supply, though it seems awfully precarious. Seems like it's just hanging on by a thread. And this of course has the same peripheral card retaining contrivance. Let's get at that modem. And Broadcom strikes again. You can almost feel the licensing costs rising. And that is the exact same modem, and similarly dusty. And that appears to be the exact same model motherboard. Still no love for the AGP graphics upgraders. Alright, let's disconnectify. And since this power supply wants to fall out anyway, let's grant its wish. And this CPU heatsink has the slightly more annoying variant of those clips. Let's get those off. Yeah, I like the other ones a lot better. This one you can't even pull off without scraping these caps. No harm done though. Let's see if this heatsink is stuck. Oh yeah, sure is. But you know what, there's a little trick I want to try. Let's get this fan off and try heating it up. Let's just brush that off so I don't have to smell roasted dust. Now I'm going to use the hot air gun on my soldering station. You could probably accomplish the same thing with a hairdryer, and that's probably the better option since a hairdryer is less likely to get dangerously hot. Alright, that's pretty toasty now. Yeah, there we go. That worked. I figured all we needed was a little heat to soften our thermal glue. New trick acquired. And I went ahead and cleaned off that thermal compound while it was still warm. That made it much easier, though the chip still has that annoying metal texture. That's just how these chips are. And that is a less performant Pentium 4, clocked at 1.8 GHz with 256K of cache, and 400 MHz frontside bus. I guess this system was a lower end model. But it looks like we've had some RAM upgrades. Let's check those out. And here we have a good old Samsung mystery stick. This could have been the OEM stick. Let's check the other one. And this one was harvested from an HP. 256 meg PC2700 stick. Single-sided. Now let's pull that motherboard. And I gotta contend with these hellacious heatsink clips again. Now I can dedustify. And get that chip cleaned up. And since I already spoiled my heatsink dust money shot, I got these cleaned up off camera. They're looking good, so let's test that fan. Well, say what you will about Gateway, they definitely used high quality fans. Well, let's see where we're at on battery health. Completely dead. That thing might as well be a dead short. $0.80 gone. Now let's get these chips dressed. Now I get to fight with these sinister things. Okay, let's see if that skinny hard drive's any easier to remove. And I noticed this case got whacked here. Wonder how that happened. Looks like the drive's gonna hit it, so I better bend that back into position. Yeah, that should do. Nope, it's not much easier. But it's out of there. Let's get the rest of these out. And there's the hard drive, 20 GB max store, with a manufacture date of May 31st, 2002. So yeah, this must be original. And same as the last system, the CD burner's made by Light-On, and it's the exact same model drive. And this one also has a secret birthday. And it also has the same model floppy drive. It's almost like these were very similar systems. And you know the drill. Let's give it the usual love. And this one's pretty clean as well. I guess that space-age drive door does wonders for keeping dust out of these, and I thought it was just there to look cool. And that is one sketchy power supply. The thing's so light I had to double check that there was actually circuitry inside. Looks like we have a date stamp of October 2007, so the original power supply lasted under 4 years. What were they doing with this thing? Well, let's give it a test. And this thing is future ready, with a single solitary SATA connector. Let's see if it has any future at all. Maybe so. The fans don't sound too great. But it survived the full 5 minutes. That's good enough for me. Alright, time to see if that bad capacitor sends us to a low Earth orbit. And let's see if this one turns on from just applying power, like the last one did. Yep, sure does. How rude. And it is posting. This one has a different splash screen. Alright, we got 512 megs of RAM. Maybe this thing will perform slightly better. Let's go set that date and time. I always do that to make sure we can get good timestamps. Alright, save that. And there we go, we are booting. But there is one small problem. We're still booting. And the hard drive was making some not so lovely sounds. But it looks like it recovered. Or maybe I spoke too soon. Well, we seem frozen, but the mouse does move. Guess I'll hit it with a power cycle. And now we got system file corruption. I guess that hard drive's no good. I guess let's see if we can get into Canopics. CD drive opens quite lazily. Just a little bit dusty in there. Doesn't sound like a successful spin-up. Let's see. Oh, I guess it's good. Let's boot that. Okay, well at least Canopics boots. Let's try to interrogate that hard drive. Let's see if we even picked up the partition. Yep, sure did. Let's try to mount that. Well, it took an exorbitantly long amount of time, but maybe it mounted. Let's see. I mean, that works. Let's actually unmount that and see what Bad Blocks thinks of it. Well, it reads, at least the beginning of that partition. Let's actually start at the beginning of the disk instead. Oh, got stuck. Yeah, we got problems. Well, it's not flagging anymore, but it's definitely struggling. That hard drive is definitely dying. Let's cancel this. Let's pull the smart data. And it even failed to read the smart error log. I guess we can't trust that self-assessment. Okay, I just reran this command, and this time I was able to read the error log, and this thing started having errors after under 2 years of lifetime. And these are only the most recent 5 errors, so those could be the ones we just encountered. But either way, that drive is apparently failing, so I guess no OS exploration for this machine. Well, how about the floppy drive? And that works. Let's try a good old file copy. I'm just going to paste these right on the desktop. It's just a RAM disk. And it's doing great. Okay, well at least that works. Good old NEC drives. Well, the Mac store failed us. Is anyone surprised though? I guess that could explain why the previous system had its drive replaced. Either that or they were just upgrading. So this launch is scrubbed. But hey, at least the rest of the system works. And maybe I'll come across one of those face panels in my adventures. But I'm not sweating it though. I already have one complete system like this. Maybe if I find a face panel, I'll turn this one into a sleeper with modern components, because that motherboard in there really isn't anything special. It doesn't even have an AGP slot. But I actually think these cases are really cool. They have a really unique look, and I just love their ease of serviceability. And you know, before I took a close look at them, I thought these systems were a lot newer than they actually are. I guess that's what Gateway was going for. Mission accomplished, I suppose. And of course, here's a huge thanks to all the people keeping me on the mission via Patreon and channel memberships. And if you enjoyed this video, please let the algorithm know by doing all the YouTubey things. I also have a lot more videos like this, one of which should be popping up on the screen somewhere. But that's all for this one. Thanks for watching.